She's TV's most memorable middle child. Eve Plumb, a.k.a. Jan Brady, provided some of the sitcom's most famous moments from the time it first graced our screens in 1969.
Oh, that's wonderful, Jan. What's his name?
His name is George.
George what?
George Glass. George Glass.
5.5 decades on, in her new memoir, Eve is revealing what life was really like on set and how the Brady Bunch magic has stood the test of time.
We all became the Brady Bunch, the Brady Bunch, the Brady Bunch.
And Eve Plumb joins us live from New York. Now, Eve, you were just 10 years old when you scored the role as Jan Brady. Looking back, was it a wonderful experience on that set?
It was. It was really a great place to grow up. I had already been working in television for about 4 years by the time I got the Brady Bunch, and I had already done a couple of pilots. So when this started, I had no idea, nobody did, that it was going to last as long as it has. But it was great to work with Robert and Florence and Anne. They were all really professional and taught us how to be working actors.
Yeah, over the years, many moments involving your character started getting quoted in pop culture, right? Lines like Marsha, 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 and the slightly sarcastic Sure, Jan. And you didn't necessarily love these, did you?
Well, those did not happen until Saturday Night Live and the satirical movies. They were never any catchphrases from the Brady Bunch that were popular during its time or after, until those shows came on.
Eve, is it true that you met your on-screen sister, Maureen McCormick, before becoming Brady's?
That's what I have heard. I don't necessarily remember that, but I think we were in a television commercial together. There was a whole raft of little girls at that time that we came up with, that we would see in the audition rooms, that we were all making the rounds. There were about 8 or 10 of us. So, of course we did. We met a lot of little girls. It was sort of a closed loop.
Yeah, right. The show wasn't an immediate hit when it first aired. When did you become aware it had become a phenomenon, and how did your life change when you became this big star?
Well, we really never felt like big stars. It never really hit the big ratings. It was never really well thought of in the critiques. Everybody sort of looked down on it as fluff and not serious fare. So we did realize we were very popular once we started making albums, and we would go out and sign records at a department store on the weekends, and we would get a huge crowd. That was when we realized that, yes, it was very popular. But no one at the time, no adult would admit to actually watching the Brady Bunch.
Oh, wow, that's crazy. I mean, the show is iconic, and you and the cast still are so close, even to this day. You have scheduled monthly Zoom calls, is that right?
Chris Knight and his wife and my husband and I do. We get together and have a glass of wine because we're on opposite coasts, and, talk about our pets, talk about our lives. It's really fun.
Eve, did you go out on a date with Chris Knight after the show had finished?
We sort of did, but we realized we're friends. We were just sort of the only people we knew for the longest time.
Yeah.
So once the show ended. Once the show ended and I went back to high school, I was able to be a cheerleader and finish my high school. And then I went right into Dawn Portrait of a Teenage Runaway TV movie. And then that sort of showed me as a working adult person, which was really great. And that sort of put me on the path to doing a lot more television movies, other movies, stage work. I've been really fortunate to keep working since the Brady Bunch.
Was it hard to break out of that? Because a lot of child actors, particularly if they enjoy some success, talk about how hard it is to break that mould.
Well, that's what when I did Dawn Portrait of a Teenage Runaway. That was the big break, and that was very fortunate. It made a lot of sense for me to do that because it was so opposite from Jan.
Eve, I just need to ask you one question. It's been bugging me for like 50 years. Sam the Butcher and Alice.
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know. And if you have special tapes, I don't need to see them.
We don't, but we wish we did.
It's one of the big questions. What were they up to? All right, lovely to talk to you this morning. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Eve.
Oh, sure.
Eve Plumb's memoir is titled Happiness Included, and it's available now. Don't you remember Alice and Sam the Butcher?
I do remember it. And I wonder...
You're like Eve, you don't want to comment on it either.
No, but I do wonder what actually went on. Soon for you.
Let us know what you think on the text line.